Hi there, welcome to kneppyinvests. About 2 months ago, early May 2022, I made a potentially foolish trade after Atomos released a profit downgrade. The share price dropped about 50% on that day, and I did think the market overreacted, particularly because, in my opinion, the problem or the profit downgrade was because of short term issues, not a structural problem. And I have been known to make these sort of foolish trades in the past to take advantage of potential bargains. It's to varying degrees of success. Sometimes it has worked, sometimes it has not worked. But I was quite confident that this was a short-term issue for Atomos, and the value of this company would increase over the next few years. And the main thing is you do have to be patient, because I bought in at 30 cents, and the share price of Atomos kept on drifting down over the following 2 months after they released this profit downgrade. So obviously, the market was expecting more downgrades to come, and the market cap of Atomos got to below $50 million at one point in time, which I thought was the market simply overreacting to what was happening with this company, because one of the reasons they did do this profit downgrade was because of decisions the ex-CEO had made. You'll be able to see that when I show you a snippet of how their 4 quarters have performed in financial year 22. That CEO is now gone. I won't say she was fired. She was let go because she wouldn't move to Australia. But I think there are other reasons behind her leaving the company. And it does look like things are turning around. And there are reasons why I'm saying things are turning around. And the reason why, or the motivation behind this video of revisiting this potential foolish trade, will become apparent later in the video. For those who don't know, Atomos have released another trading update, and the reaction from the market was quite significant. Now, before we have a look at the most recent trading update, I just want to go back in time just to see how this company performed in financial year 21, because the profit downgrade they released in early May and the trading update they released on July 5th were in regards to revenue and EBITDA margins. So that's the basis this company uses to judge how they're performing. So I just want to go back to financial year 21 just to see how they perform in that year. Record revenue of 78.6 million for Atomos. That was up 77% on financial year 20. And that's not a surprise, because this company was significantly affected by COVID-19. EBITDA positive by 8.2 million, which means that EBITDA margins are above 10% for the year. And EBITDA margins were trending towards 12 to 15% for financial year 22. And the other good thing here is strong cash flow of 7.1 million. They don't mention whether this strong cash flow is operating cash flow or free cash flow. And depending on how much they're spending on capital expenditure, it could be both. But I would have preferred to know if that strong cash flow number of 7.1 million was free cash flow or operating cash flow. But otherwise, things are looking up for Atomos when they release their financial year 21 results. Now, when the company did release their half-year results on the 15th of February, they did reaffirm guidance for financial year 22, and revenue, they expected that to be more than $95 million, nice increase on the previous financial year, and they still expected EBITDA margins to be between 12 and 15%. So things are still looking up for Atomos, although if you compare to the share price performance at this point in time, the share price, I think, was falling right now and was in a downtrend. So the market was skeptical about how Atomos was going to perform from here on in. And then on the 6th of May, the company did release a trading update, and this was a downgrade because they revised their revenue expectations and the EBITDA margins expectations. In fact, the EBITDA margin expectations were down a fair bit. Now, just before they released this trading update, maybe a few weeks, maybe a month before they released this trading update, they did announce that the CEO had resigned. In my opinion, she probably more than likely was forced out. The reason they did give in that particular announcement was that she was not willing to relocate to Melbourne, and Atomos wanted, or the board wanted, the CEO to be based in Australia. But I think there were some other reasons, and in commentary in some of the other announcements, I think some of those reasons were fairly clearly spelled out, even if they didn't say it directly. And naturally enough, the market absolutely hated this announcement, and that's why the share price dropped 49.2%. Now, I believe the market absolutely overreacted to this profit downgrade, But you see this all the time because whenever a company releases a downgrade, the market has to readjust how they value a company. And a lot of times, when a company does release a downgrade, it is a warning sign that there is potentially more downgrades to come and that the management isn't aware, perfectly aware, of how the company is performing. So even though the share price did decrease by 49.2%, even though I did think the market had overreacted in this particular situation, I did think there was potential more downside to come. And there was more downside to come as the share price drifted lower over the following 2 months. And this is the share price or the chart for Atomos going back to October 2021. And the reason I want to go back that far is that's when the share price moved into a downtrend just after October, sort of around November, maybe into December. Share price actually did reach a high of $1.75, but you can just see the share price drifting lower even after they released their half-year results in February. There was no positive reaction from the market. And just before they released that profit downgrade in May, the share price actually had dropped from about a $1, which was in April, all the way down to just above about 56 cents. So the market was sort of expecting this before they released that profit downgrade. And potentially it was a resignation of the CEO that did or was the catalyst behind the initial re-rating in this company's share price. But after they did release this profit downgrade, there was no bounce in the share price. And that was a worrying sign for me. And the share price just kept on drifting lower. In fact, the share price dropped from that 30 cents when I bought in all the way down to 19 cents a few days before they released the trading update on July 5. And that meant that the market cap of this company at about 19 cents was something less than $50 million. And that was attractive to me. But just the fear of more potential downgrades, which is what I think the market was pricing in at that point in time, just kept me from adding more to my position in this company. And then on 5th of July, Atomos released the trading update. And I actually saw the title trading update and I got a little bit nervous that this was going to be another profit downgrade. They didn't release this announcement before trading had begun. They released it during trading. But when I opened up, I realized this was not a profit downgrade, nor was it a profit upgrade. It was a non-downgrade, non-upgrade, just a trading update of how the company has performed. And I think this relieved the market because the market was expecting more downgrades to come. And because this wasn't a downgrade, we saw the reaction from the market. And the reaction from the market was to send the share price of this company up 50%. And you don't rarely see that with a non-profit upgrade sort of announcement. So this trading update was in regards to revenue. So they now expect revenue to be about 82 million. And if you remember that downgrade, they had a range of revenue between 80 and 90 million. So this actually results were towards the low end of that range. So again, this was not a profit downgrade or revenue downgrade, but sort of, well, we are going to plan. Everything's going to plan. This is not a downgrade. We don't expect revenue to be less than 80%. So again, I think the market was relieved. They also mentioned that the end to the year was really strong. And third quarter, sales are up 37% on the prior corresponding period. I think that also played a part in how the market reacted to this particular announcement. One of the tables, or the only table they did provide in the commentary of this announcement, was really eye-opening to how much of an effect some of the decisions the ex-CEO had made had on the business of Atomos, particularly their sales. So we're looking at quarterly sales here for financial year 21 and financial year 22. There's definitely some seasonality here. So typically Atomos's best quarters are going to be quarter 2 and quarter 4, and the worst quarters are going to be the first quarter and quarter 3. But there's one quarter that really sticks out here, and that's the third quarter of financial year 22. And this was a quarter that was affected by some of the ex-CEO's decisions. So she decreased money, or she decreased promotional activities, she decreased marketing, those sort of things. And that led to quarterly sales of only 3.6 million in quarter 3. In quarter 4, they mentioned they had fixed the problems, again, short-term issues, not structural problems. And that meant quarterly sales for quarter 4 had jumped up to 37.5 million. And because quarterly sales had jumped up significantly from quarter 3, that meant, in fact, quarterly sales had climbed 4.3% from financial year 21 to financial year 22. So this company is still growing even though they had a ridiculously bad quarter in quarter 3 of this financial year. I've already mentioned that the market reacted quite well to this particular trading update, even though it wasn't a profit upgrade, simply because the market came to the realization there's not going to be any more downgrades. This was just a short-term issue. The company has solved these issues. It's not a structural problem, and that's why the share price increased 51% on the back of this announcement. And when you look at the share price increasing from the lows only a few days previous to this, share price almost doubled. So I think this is just a sign the market is not concerned anymore about Atomos and the future of this company. And then you compare the share price right now to the share price before they released that trading downgrade on the 6th of May, there is still a lot of upside to come for this company, particularly when you think the share price high for Atomos was $1.70. The company is still growing. I think there is a lot of potential growth in the future. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to buy in at 30 cents, just because of the future, the 5-year potential, the 5-year future or potential future for this company is quite good, in my opinion. I think there is some value even at these prices, even though the share price has jumped up 51% in one day. That's all I have for this video on revisiting my potential foolish trade of Atomos. It did look like there for a while that it was going to be a foolish trade as the share price drifted lower and lower and lower, falling from 30 cents all the way down to 19 cents. But fortunately, with this trading update, the share price now of Atomos is higher than my buy-in price. I do think there is a lot of potential upside for this company moving forward from here, even though the share price did increase 51%. So I'm probably not willing to take profits just yet. I think the upside could be well north of $2 within 5 years, because I do like what this company produces, their products, but it is a discretionary sort of purchase. I think a lot of their products are discretionary. And if we do see significant downside in the economies, if we do see significant recessions, those sort of things, this company will feel the effects. And that's the only reason I could think of the share price of Atomos drifting lower from here on in over the next few years. So if you do have any questions about Atomos, any questions about my foolish trade, I'd love to hear your thoughts, your opinions. So leave it in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I am not a financial advisor. If you do need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.